All right, let's just dive into the Q&A. We've got some really good questions. Question number one from actually two of them from Mr. J. First one, when considering sales and marketing careers, how can I determine which one is a better fit for me? Really good question. I don't know where to start. That's actually me when I first started my career. I started off in marketing, but I've always in my mind, I've always thought about sales and marketing, sales and marketing. It's not an easy question, but you need to do, number one, do that personality analysis so that you understand your personality. And you may want to just Google the Myers-Briggs personality test. There may be 7 different personalities that fit into sales. And then you can also go into marketing. So from my standpoint, I actually started my career in marketing, as I mentioned, and I became very successful. And that actually was a really good stepping stone for me to go into sales and became very successful in sales later on in my career. The reason is that you know how to position things and you know the attention to details. You also understand how marketing and sales and demand generation works. So you've got all the basics in you. Now, today, do you want to get into sales immediately or do you want to go into marketing? So it depends on your own personality. If you always want to win, if you're very, very competitive, and if you're independent, meaning you want to work on your own and you want to lead a team, depending on the type of sales job that you're going into, you can think about sales. If you want to work in a team setting, then you may want to consider marketing. Also, you need to go through that 6-step career process to define what ultimately happiness is to you. And you then also understand your need for money. And that would actually drive it. Again, if you want a lot of money, then the obvious choice is sales. If you are more risk averse, then you may want to start in the marketing role first, and you can always move into sales at a later stage. Hopefully that answers your question. The follow-on question is a good one as well. For someone new to the Canadian job market, any suggestion on whether it's easier to begin a career in sales or marketing? Actually, the bottom line is that people would say, employers would say to you that you don't have Canadian experience. So that's the more important thing for you to do more volunteering work and you do part-time job. And the part-time job that I would recommend is customer-facing job. And this is regardless of your job role in the future. Even if you want to go into accounting, I would suggest that at this point, you want to get some on-the-job interpersonal skills training in a customer-facing role, because that's what you get, and you get paid for doing that. And it is actually in one of my videos, so you may want to just go back and watch the video. So for the Canadian job market, there's a couple of interesting scenarios. In the insurance business and in some other industry, like selling cars, selling automobile, there's no base salary. So if you're a risk taker and you're starting fresh anyways, and if you're waiting for your marketing job to come, you can actually try that because it makes no difference to you. So it may not be bad for you to think about a job like that. And not that it's easier to get in, because there's still the different steps that you have to take. For example, for insurance, you have to pass the examination. So I urge you to follow the 6-step process and go through that 6-step process and make sure that you're doing the right research and the right personality matching and the right goal setting for you to determine which area to go in. And I would say it's about the same in Canada at this point for you. And you just need to keep your options open. But personality is probably one of the most important things that you need to think about. Whether you are whether you are an extrovert, and whether you are articulate, whether you are independent, and whether you like to take a little bit of risk, and whether you like money. Okay, moving on to a few other questions. So number one, once I have completed personality assessment, how do I navigate career choices? For instance, if I lean towards helping and serving others, yet numerous roles involve serving people, how do I determine the best career path? Should I prioritize opportunities that allow for skill expansion? Absolutely. So you want, especially when you're starting a career, you want more career prospects. You want something that would open doors for you. You don't want to limit yourself into a very narrow area. I would not suggest that you pick one industry in a very narrow industry that has 2 companies in the industry and focus on that. That's almost thinking, oh, I've met my life partner and we'll get married and be happy ever after. That doesn't work that way. That doesn't work that way. In North America, half of the people divorce each other. So you have to understand the nature of business, and you just need to do the proper thinking in here. So I would suggest that you follow the 6 steps. It would actually force you to eliminate, again, process of elimination. Once you set your goals, once you know how much money you need, you then go back and make the adjustment and say, wait a minute, if that's the money I need to go for a higher position or more progressive position for which I can make more money. So these I should eliminate. These job titles, these job roles, I should eliminate. And then find and pick something that you can grow into, that there will be future careers prospects. So let me give you an example. Anything that is a back office job, if you work in a warehouse, if you work as a security guard, that would be career limiting, meaning you don't become a vice president of security. There are not a lot of positions like that, unless it is a huge company. So there are not a lot of senior positions available for those kind of careers. Okay, number 2, happiness, a concept subject to individual interpretation, varies among people. For instance, one of my friends find happiness in maintaining a healthy body and nurturing relationships, rather than focusing on material possessions or wealth. How should he approach career selections? So I think that person or you may have confused a little bit about the happiness and the definition of it. In the 6-step process, in one of my early videos, I talk about first step is define happiness and the end state. So you can watch that video again. The most important concept is the end state. So I'm not talking about whether you have a happy or positive lifestyle. That's a different thing. I'm talking about the end state, what makes you happy. So is it to retire early at the age of 50? Is it traveling all the time after retirement? Own a house and have 2 kids, raise 2 kids? Is that your ultimate happiness? After you retire, what would you like to do? What makes you happy? What will make you happy? Actually, that is the question, not an ongoing lifestyle question. So hopefully I answer your question. Meaning you should focus on what is happiness for you for the long run. Define it, and then it'll shape your career path pretty much based on that. And then you assess how much money you need, and then you select the right work and the roles for you. And then you continue to do the research, and then you refine and review. And that was actually one really good question, because I did not really elaborate what refine and review means. That means whenever there are life changes, for example, you've got a new job, you've got a significant other, new boyfriend, girlfriend, or you get married, you have a child, life changes. You get a promotion, life changes. At that point, you want to go back and review whatever you set as goals originally, whatever happiness means to you, because right now you may have a new partner in your life, and the definition for him or her with regards to happiness may not be the same. He or she may not want to travel. He or she may want to just live in a suburban town in Northern Ontario. So that may or may not be the exact goals that you have set in the past. So what you need to do is to go back, look at your goals, look at what you've set in terms of objectives for yourself, career goals, the roles, and you may need to make adjustments and fine-tune it. Fine-tune all the components, and then go back and re-evaluate, and then hopefully reach a new high based on that. Question number 3, upon identifying my desired career path, what steps should I take if I encounter obstacles preventing entry into that field? Great question. I think persistence is one of them. I think there was another question from Ms. E, which is very similar. When I have determined my desired career path or industry, what should be my first step to take that that may help me succeed in entering that field? I actually have created another slide for that. Getting hired should be your next step. But there's one important component, and I'll probably make another video on it. You want to update your LinkedIn profile, your LinkedIn all the time. And you want to be at a state for which you're always ready for your next career move. Why is that? Because you need it. You don't know when you're being called for an interview. You don't know when your boss or big boss will call you in and say, hey, by the way, I have a position for you. Would you be interested? Because if it's a lateral move, or if it's a small promotion, you may have to think about it. If it's a move up, but same salary. What would you think about that? So you always need to be ready. You always have to be in that good state of mind. So you need to update your LinkedIn profile all the time. One of the reasons is that you may get a job just like that. At one point, actually, it was a very good job. My last job, which a recruiter called me probably 10 years ago, and they use LinkedIn to connect with me. So LinkedIn profile has to be updated at all times. So that's number one. Based on the last couple of questions from two different people, this is what I would like you to do. You need to do deeper research. Remember, you need to review and you need to update. You need to fine tune. So what do you mean, deeper research, Edmund? Deeper research means that you go deep into the job specification for the roles that you've picked. And maybe another level out, meaning you want to be an analyst for that organization. You probably want to understand what a supervisor and a manager's position job specification is. As an aspiring career person, you just want to know what your next steps would be. So number one, you need to understand that job role, that job specification. You need to understand your career path clearly. And in my earlier video, I talk about organizational charts. So searching for different organizations' organizational charts will actually give you a good and clear idea of what your career path should be and look like. And then do the research on salary, whether it meets your expectation or not. Number two, you go deeper. You go more specific and search for a list of target employers. And these are the companies that you want to target and start your networking and do deeper connections with these people. And the third thing that you want to do, excuse me, is to find a mentor. A mentor is somebody whom you can rely or that they can coach you on an ongoing basis for free. And this can be a supervisor, a manager, or your big boss. It can be your professor at the college. It can be a good friend. It can be somebody that you meet at an industry event or a networking event. That leads us to number 4, networking. What is networking? Let me just briefly define networking. Networking is the communications for two individuals or more individuals when you have something in common. That's something in common. It could be a career goals. It could be an interest. It could be an interest group. It can be an industry, or you can work for the same company, and it could be your classmates as well. At this point, I have another 5 minutes, so I think we need more time, but let's just go through it right now, and then I will actually send you another link for another Zoom link. Okay, number 4 is networking. You want to join industry associations, and I don't need to talk too much about it. When you connect, when you go to conferences, you meet more people, you find common interests, and you learn more from these people, and they can become, or they will welcome your LinkedIn connections. People are more willing to do so after meeting you versus just cold connection. You want to attend some events, and they can be even networking meetings. So you can just Google networking, and there will be a whole bunch of different general interests and career-related networking events. And then you do your regular target LinkedIn connections. Number 5 is to upgrade yourself. One of the questions that I got was, I became a supervisor. What do I do? I don't feel comfortable being a supervisor. Upgrade and attend, pay to get some certification. Some of the certifications and some of the training are free online. And some of them, of course, you have to pay for them. Upgrade yourself. And with these 5 steps, you are much better equipped to get hired. And you can obviously do the regular thing in applying for jobs and watch your LinkedIn. There are a lot of jobs that are open on LinkedIn. At this point, I'm going to stop the recording. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.